The Zodiac Killer is a notorious unidentified serial killer who operated in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Here's a comprehensive overview of the history and details surrounding this enigmatic figure. Background and timeline. First known attacks. The Zodiac Killer's first known victims were high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, who were shot to death on December 20, 1968 near Vallejo, California. Lake Herman Road murders. On July 4, 1969, the Zodiac Killer murdered Darlene Ferrin and wounded Michael Mageau in a parking lot at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. He then called the police to report the crime. Letters to the press. Following the attacks, the Zodiac Killer began sending taunting letters and cryptograms to local newspapers, claiming responsibility for the murders and threatening to kill more unless his letters were published. Continued attacks. On September 27, 1969, the Zodiac Killer killed taxi driver Paul Stein in San Francisco. This was the only confirmed murder where the killer did not wear a mask. Cryptic Codes. The Zodiac Killer sent several cryptic messages or ciphers to newspapers. Some of these ciphers were decoded, but others remain unsolved, adding to the mystery surrounding the killer's identity. Media attention. The Zodiac Killer garnered significant media attention due to the chilling nature of the crimes, the mysterious ciphers, and the killer's habit of taunting law enforcement and the public through letters. Unsolved cases. Despite intensive investigations by law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, the Zodiac Killer was never apprehended or positively identified. He claimed to have killed as many as 37 people, though only 5 deaths have been conclusively linked to him. Modus Operandi. The Zodiac Killer primarily targeted young couples in secluded areas. His attacks typically involved shooting his victims with a .22 caliber firearm. He often wore a hooded costume with a symbol resembling a crosshair as his signature. Letters and ciphers. The Zodiac Killer sent a series of letters to local newspapers, including the San Francisco Chronicle, in which he mocked police and threatened further violence. Some of the letters included cryptograms that he claimed would reveal his identity. While some ciphers were partially decoded, others remain unsolved to this day. Investigation and suspects. The case remains open, but several suspects have been investigated over the years, including Arthur Lee Allen, who was a person of interest but was never charged due to insufficient evidence. The FBI's investigation into the Zodiac Killer remains one of the longest and most extensive in the agency's history. Legacy and impact. The Zodiac Killer's crimes have had a lasting impact on popular culture, inspiring numerous books, documentaries, and films. The case has also influenced criminal investigations and profiling techniques, particularly in the field of serial killer behavior analysis. Conclusion. The identity of the Zodiac Killer remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. Despite decades of investigation and public interest, his true identity and fate remain unknown, leaving behind a legacy of fear and fascination. The case continues to intrigue and haunt those interested in true crime and criminal psychology.